positive peer pressure. Tap into and support the potential of newfound greatness at SEO-USA.org.
The biggest black news every 30 minutes.
The Black Information Network. The Bay Area's BIN 910.
A special thank you to Geico,
A proud founding partner who shares and supports the mission of the Black Information Network.
In 1949, station WDIA in Memphis, Tennessee became the first to employ an all-black on-air announcing staff, broadcasting blues, gospel, and various talk programs. Acquiring the right to broadcast at a higher wattage, the station boosted their signal from 250 to 50,000 watts and was now capable of reaching as far north as Missouri and as far south as the Gulf Coast. That range included about 10% of the black population of the United States, which in turn garnered substantial advertising revenue. Influencing every black radio station to follow, WDIA assigned itself the moniker the Mother Station of Negroes. It also earned the nickname the Goodwill Station because it broadcast public service bulletins. Later that year, WERD in Atlanta began broadcasting as the first black-owned radio station. Powerful AM stations such as WLAC in Nashville began broadcasting black-oriented news and rhythm and blues music across entire regions of the United States, drawing both black and white audiences. And that's a fact. I'm Big Sue on the Black Information Network.
The stories that are important to you.
A man is pleaded guilty to vehicular homicide for mowing down two protesters with his car in Seattle on a 24/7 news network.
The higher number of preterm births among black mothers results in major health disparities later in life,
Giving voice to the black community.
All people that involved will be held accountable.
This is the Black Information Network.
The Bay Area's BIN 910 and on the iHeartRadio app. Bank of America Corporation is proud to be a founding partner who shares and supports the mission of the Black Information Network.
This is Big Med with a look at black sports history. They say that records are meant to be broken. When Kareem Abdul-Jabbar retired at the age of 42 in 1989, he had 38,387 points. The thought that someone would come along and play that well for that long to break that record was unheard of. Enter LeBron James.
With the first pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select LeBron James.
19 seasons later, 4 MVPs, 4 championships, and LeBron James broke the all-time scoring record on February 7th, 2023, as a member of the Lakers almost 39 years after Kareem.
LeBron James, a shot at history.
They say that records aren't meant to be broken, but if LeBron James has anything to say about it,
And I want my damn respect too.
this record may not be. And that's a look at black sports history. I'm Big Med on the Black Information Network.
The opinions, beliefs, and viewpoints expressed in this commentary are those of the author and do not necessarily represent those of BIN and its founding partners and employees.
I'm James C. Harris, and I have something to say. A mob of looters took to Chicago's South Loop on Sunday night. News reports indicate that approximately 300 to 400 people engaged in disorderly behavior and attempted to loot a convenience store. The mob action was not unusual for Chicago. Chicago, which used to be known only as a city with one of the top murder rates in the country, has now become known for mass mobs, mostly teens taking over streets and neighborhoods, committing various acts of violence, including vandalism, looting, and so on. Residents say the mobs have been creating chaos because, of course, that is what mobs do. But we are not allowed to call them mobs. According to Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, he is demanding that the word mob not be used to describe the mobs. He said the word mob was not appropriate when talking about hundreds of people trying to loot a store. It demonizes the youngins. He prefers large gatherings. The definition of a large gathering is a group of people meeting together for a particular purpose. The definition of a mob is a large crowd of people, especially one that is disorderly and intent on causing trouble or violence. So let me see if we can help the mayor out. These large gatherings of teens are becoming mobs once the particular purpose becomes causing trouble and committing violence. So perhaps the mayor should focus his attention less on the words to describe these mob actions and focus more on what will prevent these large gatherings from becoming mob actions. Rather than scolding reporters, maybe the mayor should be out in the street scolding these children. And for a lot of these kids, it may be the only scolding they ever receive from an adult male. It might be life-changing. It could be life-saving. I'm James T. Harris for the Black Information Network. You can follow me on Instagram at James T. Harris.
The Black news you need every 30 minutes on the Black Information Network.
The Bay Area's BIN 910.
I'm Doug Davis. Here's what's trending. The Republican-controlled House Oversight Committee released documents it says shows Hunter Biden's deals with Russia and Ukraine brought in $20 million to President Biden's family and their allies. And that's what's trending on the Black Information Network.
On the Black Information Network.
Another top prospect in the 2024 recruiting class is changing his commitment to a rival SEC school. ESPN 300 safety Peyton Woodard is flipping his commitment from Georgia to Alabama. The defensive back from St. John Bosco High School in Bellflower, California is ranked number 107 in the 2024 ESPN 300 and is the 6th ranked safety. The Crimson Tide now has 12 ESPN 300 commitments in its class, while the Bulldogs dropped to 19, but still have the top-ranked recruiting class. Woodyard took an official visit to Alabama on June 23rd, which is when he thought he would end up making a switch. The program sees him in a safety role, being able to play down and cover tight ends and slot receivers like Minkah Fitzpatrick. Elsewhere in college football, North Carolina wide receiver Devontae Walker had his waiver for immediate eligibility denied by the NCAA. The Charlotte native said in a statement that he transferred to UNC from Kent State in order to be closer to his ailing grandmother. The school has filed an appeal on his behalf. Walker said that he did everything within the rules that would allow him to play this year and that he just wants to be a student and an athlete. And in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens are looking into a former number 1 overall pick. The Athletic reports Jadeveon Clowney was at the team facility for a free agent visit. Clowney also made stops with the Tennessee Titans and the Seattle Seahawks. Sports at 14 at 44 minutes past each hour. I'm Morgan Wood on the Black Information Network. A special thank you to Sony,
A proud founding partner who shares and supports the mission of the Black Information Network. iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with John Legend about where he gets the stories behind his songs.
Sometimes my music isn't always directly autobiographical. Sometimes I just write a song because an idea came to me. I like to tell great stories and build on those stories and make great songs. We try to tap into the human experience, and it doesn't have to be our personal experience all the time to create great art.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from your favorite artists.
Telling our stories is more important than ever, and the NABJ is committed to training and supporting Black journalists, media professionals, journalism students, and educators. Learn more at nabj.org. Again, that's nabj.org.
You've got a voice. We've got a hotline. Call the Black Information Network at 855-500-9BIN.
Entertainment news on the Black Information Network. The microphone tossed by rapper Cardi B during a recent Las Vegas show at Dre's is going for nearly $100,000 at auction. Cardi B was caught on video throwing the mic at a fan after liquid from that fan's cup was thrown in the rapper's direction. Scott Fisher owns the production company that provided the microphone for the performance, and he told TMZ the profits from the auction will go to 2 different charities. At the time of the auction closing, the highest bid was over $99,000. And in other entertainment news, actor Billy Porter says he's been forced to sell his house due to the Hollywood actors and writers' strike. The Emmy Award-winning actor said in a recent interview in London that he was supposed to be in a new movie and a new TV show starting in September, and that it's not happening now because of the strike, and he's living check to check. In his interview, Porter said the problem is that there's no contract for streaming and that streaming companies are not transparent with the numbers. It's not Nielsen ratings anymore. Porter said the business has evolved, so the contract has to evolve. With the latest in entertainment at 17 and 47 minutes past each hour, I'm Morgan Wood on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
traffic and weather.
On the Bay Area's BIN 910.
Want to head back over to the Dumbarton Bridge. We still have the solo crash involving an SUV that ended up on top of the concrete wall, eastbound 84, approaching the toll plaza. Looks like the right lane is still blocked and traffic is backed up to the high rise. You're looking at least a 35-minute delay. It's also affecting traffic on the San Mateo Bridge. We have been doing okay there on eastbound 92, but we're seeing a slowdown starting right at the 101 interchange. That's going to carry you through Foster City. Then you're going to slow down again at mid-span. That's going to run you out to the Nimitz Freeway. Also, keeping an eye on the Bay Bridge, where westbound or mid-set eastbound 80, that's going to be sluggish from 101. It stretches out to the island. Taking a look at your Bay Area weather, we're going to have clear skies overnight. Lows at 50, sunny and mild. At the coast tomorrow with Bay Area traffic and weather. I'm Richard Batiste on the Black Information Network.
The power of information.
Keeping you up to date on the Black Information Network.
I'm Amber Payton. And I'm Bree Wood on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Hey, I'm from Miami, born and raised, and I'm still not used to this. It's gonna get hotter, and I don't know how we're gonna make it.
I think it's extremely hot.
I don't like the sweater. I feel like my skin is sticky.
These are all reactions from the deadly heat waves that have taken over the U.S. this summer. But is there a primary group mostly affected by the dangerous weather? Jeff Goodall, author of The Heat Will Kill You First, says people of color are primarily impacted. In an interview with The Guardian, Goodall explains black people and millions of migrant workers, such as farmhands, builders, and delivery workers, are not guaranteed life-saving measures because they are considered expendable. He relates it to a time in history when enslaved black people were forced to do farm work in the South, but believes the government could and should do more to protect vulnerable people in this dangerous heat. A black therapist is being praised by users on TikTok for her professionalism and composure after a white woman calls the police on her for having what she considered to be a loud conversation. Dr. Markeisha Frost was on the phone with a client in the comment area when she was questioned by a woman who appeared to be white. Unacknowledged, the woman then called local law enforcement, telling police dispatch that Frost does not belong there. Once police arrived, Dr. Frost explained she is just locked out of her office and taking a meeting. After a brief discussion, police decided no action was necessary. Dr. Frost says she is taking steps to ensure she is protected from that woman and anyone like her in the future. A former Cardinal Newman High School student is suing the school and campus leaders, claiming discrimination and retaliation.
The student was kicked off the football team and expelled from the school earlier this year. He says campus leaders needed to retaliate against him for speaking out about racist and discriminatory comments he and other football players of color endured at the hands of the head coach. The 17-year-old boy, who is black, says Cardinal Newman High School failed to supervise head coach Richard Sanchez. He also said it failed to protect him from bullying, harassment, and racism. I'm Karen Streety on the Black Information Network.
A new study claims you don't need to take 10,000 steps every day to lower your risk of heart disease. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland measured data from over 200,000 people who were counting their steps and settled on 4,000 per day as a good target. In a study published this week, the scientists said people who hit the 4,000 step mark saw their risk go down of dying prematurely from any cause. They added, though, that health benefits do increase the more people walk. There are many documentaries out for you to enjoy, but this one might be one of the first about a black professional bowler. Jasmine Mason, also known as Gigi, a native from Rhode Island, is a four-time Olympic gold medalist. According to MSN, the 28-year-old has also made history as the first black person to win singles and all events gold for Team USA. Now Gigi is sharing her story in a documentary that's been 2 years in the making, Last Place Champ. Film producer Nora Long says she has hopes the film will reach people in the bowling community who may need some inspiration. For more news impacting the black community, listen to the Black Information Network on the iHeartRadio app or log on to BINnews.com. I'm Amber Payton along with Bree Woods on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
CVS has everything you may need to get all the fun out of that last bit of summer. From travel products and beauty needs to health services for many clinics, so you won't miss a minute of the sunshine. Learn more at CVS.com.
Our news, wherever you are. Tell your smart device to play the Black Information Network station on iHeartRadio.
Formulate to play the Black Information Network on the iHeartRadio app. Headlines every 30 minutes. Breaking news at once.
The Black Information Network. The Bay Area. BIN 910.
The back-to-school shopping season can be a lot of fun.
fun, but it is also prime time for scam artists. Jason Meza with the Better Business Bureau of Texas says the bad guys know parents are busy and they try to take advantage of that.
We see a lot of scammers lose money on the out-of-stock, in-demand, gotta-have items that go onto a shady website and they don't get it.
He says it is important to buy school supplies, especially electronics, from well-known online retailers. And the National Retail Federation says families are expected to spend $25 more this year than last year thanks to inflation. Meanwhile, it has been months, but there is finally a winner in the record-setting $1.58 million Mega Millions jackpot. Tristan Hardy says one lucky ticket in Florida matched all the numbers in Tuesday night's big drawing. They bought it in Neptune Beach. 2 tickets from Texas, as well as tickets in California, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, won at least $1 million. The jackpot for Friday night at Mega Millions returns to its starting point at $20 million. Money news at 54 minutes past each hour. I'm Nicole Neal on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and VINnews.com.
Trusted Black News.
The Black Information Network.
The Bay Area's BIN 910.
I'm Bree Wood, and I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Some Kyle Rittenhouse's defenders are launching an on-site aimed at helping people who believe they're unfairly targeted by cancel culture.
They told Fox News the group aims to help everyday Americans being victimized for exercising their constitutional rights. Rittenhouse is the 17-year-old who was charged and eventually acquitted in the shooting deaths of 2 men during the August 2020 riot in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The nonprofit noted Rittenhouse was kicked off media platforms when he tried to get donations for his legal defense. The group is now helping Marine veteran Daniel Tenney, who was charged for the choking death of a black man on a New York City subway. I'm Karen McCready on the Black Information Network.
The kidnapping hoax of Carly Russell in Hoover, Alabama has stirred up many emotions for people. However, some feel that reactions from authorities have been over the top. According to Fox News, Black sports journalist and author Jamel Hill tweeted that the police response has been overzealous because Carly is black. Hill says there is no problem with her being punished, but thinks if she was white, there wouldn't be a push for a harsher punishment. Alabama lawmakers are currently seeking to increase penalties for lying to police. A black former student athlete at Cardinal Newman High School in Santa Rosa, California, is suing the school after being expelled.
The Press-Democrat reports that 17-year-old Lonzo Archerberry was removed from the football team after bringing attention to alleged racism and discrimination towards him and other players of color by the team's head coach, Richard Sanchez. The lawsuit was filed last month on his behalf by his father and accuses the administration of retaliation for his speaking out. Archerberry is seeking a minimum of $4,000 plus damages and attorney's fees. I'm Natasha Williams with the Black Information Network.
Republican Senator and presidential candidate Tim Scott has qualified for the first GOP presidential debate. Journalist Juan Williams says Senator Scott, who is the only black Republican in the Senate, should use the debate to discuss racism in the Republican Party. In an op-ed for The Hill, Williams, who is black, noted that racism in the GOP didn't start with former President Donald Trump, but it will continue to spread unless Republicans speak up. If Scott does this, Williams says it may help him captivate a bigger audience. I'm Bree Wood, along with Amber Payton, on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network. Now here's Mike Island with your Healthy Minutes.
You should know that I take many things about my job here at the Black Information Network to heart. That's why I like to do features on heart health. I reached out to Dr. B.J. Hicks, president of the Midwest American Heart and American Stroke Association Board of Directors, to give us information about heart disease and stroke.
In America, about 800,000 strokes happen every year. This is the #1 leading cause of adult disability in this country. It's also the 5th leading cause of death, which is actually an improvement from 15 years ago when it was the 3rd. So although these numbers are staggering, going from the 3rd leading cause of death to the 5th may not sound like a lot, but it really lets you know that we are able to treat a lot of strokes and we are making them a much more livable thing because of the treatment options that we have. The best way to ensure that you can get your stroke symptoms reversed or cleared is by getting to the hospital as soon as humanly possible.
And that's your Healthy Minutes. I'm Mike Island on the Black Information Network.
Portions of the following program will be recorded. Black News, Black Podcast. This is the Black Information Network.
The Bay Area's BIN 910.
Walter Anderson was a pianist, professor, composer, and the first African-American man to become head of the music department at Antioch College in 1946. This made him the first black man to chair a department outside of the nation's historically black colleges. The Zanesville, Ohio native attended Oberlin College and studied music at the Berkshire Music Center and Cleveland Institute of Music in his youth. Anderson was a pioneer in the academic world, and in 1968, he was appointed director of music programs at the National Endowment for the Arts. At the NEA, he developed grant guidelines that garnered private sector support for the arts. And in 1979, he was awarded a special citation for distinguished service to the arts. Walter Anderson passed away in November of 2003, but his legacy continues to live on through numerous accolades and his variations in orchestration. And that's a fact. I'm Wesson Show for the Black Information Network. 9:10 a.m. KKSF, Oakland, the Black Information Network.
Tell your smart device to play Bay Area VIN 910 on iHeartRadio.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Black Montgomery, Alabama Mayor Stephen Reed said last week's riverfront fight could be viewed as slurs. The case stems from an attack on a black riverboat co-captain and an argument over a reserved docking space. One suspect has turned himself in, and two others are expected to surrender soon. Scientists are officially labeling July as the hottest month ever recorded. July's global average temperature was just over 62.5 degrees Fahrenheit. That broke the previous record set in July of 2019 of just under 62 degrees. The program's director said the rising global temperatures are likely driven by human-caused emissions. Comedian Chris Tucker will head out on his first stand-up tour in more than a decade next month. The actor, known for his roles in films like Rush Hour, announced the Legend Tour 2023 will kick off on September 8th in North Charleston, South Carolina. And that's the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
I'm Vanessa Tyler.
And I'm Mike Stevens on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Montgomery police are zeroing in on those who started the trouble and threw the punches at that Alabama dockside brawl everybody is talking about.
Investigation is ongoing, and no charges are likely.
At a news conference, police named the white men charged and clearly seen on viral video jumping the black co-captain of the riverboat. All he wanted was for the private boat to move out of the reserved space. The fight seemed racial, especially when black people rushed in to a one-sided battle against the black man just doing his job. But Montgomery Black Police Chief says there are no racial bias charges at this time.
Sharp-eyed viewers of social media recognize one of the white men on the dock as a business owner of Vassar's Mini Mart in Selma, Alabama. Chase Shipman reportedly admits he was there but tried to get away from the trouble. Some on social media, though, are not buying it and turned to Yelp to give his business 1 star and reviews accusing him of being involved. He says he was not, faces no charges.
A former Detroit, Michigan black pastor is accused of breaking a commandment and the law. Albert Weathers admits killing a transgender woman back in 2018. 36-year-old Kelly Stahl was shot to death. He initially claimed she jumped in his car and tried to rob him, but it happened in an area where she was a sex worker. Weathers just took a plea deal that will put him behind bars about 10 years when he's sentenced in September.
Also in Detroit, a black man who once said "I do" is now in custody for allegedly killing his estranged wife. Wayne County prosecutors say Breon McIntosh ambushed his wife, Andrika, just as they were heading to a scheduled divorce proceeding. Police say the victim had 7 children and was also taking care of a nephew with special needs. The husband now charged with premeditated murder.
Calls for the federal government to investigate the Antioch, California police. So demand civil rights lawyers who say that text messaging scandal among the cops is reason enough.
In this case, we have not only race, but we have homophobic, we have anti-Semitic, and clearly against black and brown people.
At least 45 officers are accused of exchanging racist and homophobic text messages. Some of the texts describe police beating suspects and making up evidence.
love can be found anywhere, including 36,000 feet in the air, which is where black couples found each other on a flight to Africa. Martina was heading to Kenya with friends, but could not get a seat near them on the